Girls were generally very happy to try a new style. But as this was the age of long hair for men, some struggle of wills followed. When a haircut was not an option, hairpins and lots of spray gave the desired effect.
Your apprehensions confuse me, dear.
Your apprehensions confuse me, dear. Puzzle and mystify, tell me what can be said. Is the world dear, while one single star shines? All falls. How can there be any
The audience surprise for this show came at the end, when the SM band burst in the rear doors of the Commons, playing 76 trombones to create a smashing finale. Word reached the Melody Top Professional Summer Theater. After opening night, the Milwaukee Sentinel was able to report,
One of the most fantastic endings to a Melody Top production ever occurred the other night as Van Johnson was about to bow from the waist to a warm and appreciative audience. From the rear of the tent, a crash of cymbals and the arrival of the entire South Milwaukee High School band flatting out 76 trombones. That has to be some grand finale.
With Five-Eyed Birdie, we went back to costuming our own shows as we did in the early days. Rentals seemed to indicate that SM had arrived and moved away from homemade. But in each of the rented shows, individual costumes had to be made anyway, usually between dress rehearsal and performance, because of the bad fit or unsuitability of the ones which were sent. Besides, our costumes could be rented to other schools to defray some of the expense of the musical production. This led to one very important lesson. White reacts strangely to stage lights. Bernie came on stage in his white trousers for American Boy amid snickers from the orchestra members and others seated at the tables in the Commons. He was wearing a very nice pair of shorts which showed through as he moved. First order of business after that rehearsal was to fit a lining into the trousers and make a mental note for future shows.
For the third time, SM was invited to present the musical as part of the Milwaukee County Summer in the Park series. From Bertie's first appearance as the 48-star American flag unfurled behind him in American Boy, to the final curtain call, the preteens in the audience were screaming. After the show, Bertie was mobbed at the rear door of the shell by the stage door Jennies, who wanted his autograph. Pretty heady business.
We remembered the diversion that the bird's nests, which still lodged in the second arch, provided, and the wind as it shook sets. But we were not prepared for the wind which took the sets off the truck as they were being transported down 15th Avenue. The truck driver was not pleased.
When boy finally gets girl, you must seal it with a kiss.
Oh, one last kiss. Oh, give me one last kiss. It never felt like this. No, never felt like this. You know I need your love. Oh, 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 give me one last kiss. Oh, one more time. Oh, baby, one more time. It really is sublime. Oh, it's so sublime. You know I need your love. Oh, 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 give me one last kiss. Baby, give me one last kiss. Baby, give me one last kiss. Oh, one last kiss. Oh, give me one last kiss. It never felt like this. No, never felt like this. You know I need your love. Oh, oh, oh. Give me one last kiss. One last kiss. One last kiss. Oh, give me one last kiss. Yeah. One last kiss. One last kiss. Oh, give me one last.
In planning Anything Goes, we took a cue from the title. The show opens without an overture, but Don and Earl Kniever's orchestra director felt that one was necessary. So they appealed to Bruce Tomahawk to make a suitable arrangement. It was a sparkling opening.
Our basic set was the deck of the USS America, designed on 2 levels. Costumes were a modified 1930s look and included such extras as breakaway dresses over sequin vests and shorts for the Take Me Back to Manhattan number, and a full chorus in red dresses and black tuxedos for Blow Gabriel Blow. Fitting girls' costumes led to an interesting concern on the young woman's part.
Do I put down my measurement as it is today, or when I lose that 10 pounds, or as I'd like it to be?
It was a dilemma that never really was solved completely in this or any show.
Choreography was varied also. The tap dance in the Anything Goes number rated extra applause, and the soft shoe routine for Take Me Back to Manhattan brought back memories of the heyday of the musicals. The result was an enjoyable experience for cast, orchestra, crews, and audience.
Charlie, a vintage farce, offered some entertaining moments due to the impersonation by Charlie of his Aunt Lucia, which resulted in confusion. The program cover featured Charlie dressed as his aunt, and a comment from someone unfamiliar with the show brought smiles. Why did they use someone so unattractive for Charlie's aunt?
Charlie, who had not danced before, was called upon to perform a soft shoe as he praises the virtues of his lady love, Amy. To practice unseen, he purchased a full-length mirror, hung it in his basement, and entertained the washer and dryer. All his work paid off. The number was thoroughly delightful.
Water was burned by poetry to flowers. Moon a million hours away. Let me take it. You might be quite the fickle-hearted rose, so careless and bold. Loves the girl and later thinks it all. Then just quit. Oh, everybody sing. Once in love with Amy. Always in love with Amy. Ever, never sweetly a romancer. Trouble is the answer will be. Ha 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 ha. That Amy'd rather stay in love.
Irene is a Cinderella story in 1920s dress.
The costumes proved an exciting challenge. Actually, 3 sets of costumes were needed. Irene's Ninth Avenue friends, Donald's society set, and Madame Lucy's avant-garde's designs. Each used a definite blend of colors and styles. A former musical participant commented, "You certainly caught a delightful rainbow with Irene."
Jim Toth, scenic designer, is to be complimented for his original design for the Ninth Avenue drop, featuring a McDonald's restaurant, which provided a colorful backdrop for the earthy tones of the costumes. Also spectacular were the 3 cameras constructed by Carl Limpius Set Construction, fashioned strong enough to support some fancy footwork by Irene and 6 friends.
The Boys Journal ended its review of Irene with this paragraph. Once again, this play reinforced the need for a community auditorium, a place to sit, enjoy, and listen to the annual musical, pride of the high school staff and students. After 21 years of sitting in rock-hard seats and straining to see and hear, it must be loyalty or sheer perseverance that brings out 3 standing room-only audiences almost every year.
Poor facilities notwithstanding, performing before your peers is memorable.
The experience of performing at the Paps was great, but at home in front of my parents, brothers and sisters and friends and schoolmates was much better. I hope other people have the same awareness of the great feeling expressed in the shows.
June 23rd, we were honored to present Irene at the Pabst Theater as part of the first Milwaukee County High School Theater Festival. The Milwaukee Journal wrote, Irene opens the drama festival with a splash. Irene is a song and dance show, and that's what South Milwaukee wowed a full house with on Wednesday.
The thrill of playing in this historic theater was worth all the extra work and headaches. Complying with union rules was only one problem. We could not be on stage unless there were union people present also, so we all suffered through an enforced lunch hour, though there were many things we could have been doing.
During curtain calls, Irene was presented with a colonial bouquet, which included little blue forget-me-nots. The audience didn't see them, but the cast understood the reference to the words Irene sang in Alice Blue Gown. With little blue forget-me-nots placed here and there, when I had it on, I walked on air. We were all walking on air that evening at the Pabst.
An MPS arts supervisor who previously had taught at SM wrote,
The show was a joy, and each person responsible for the continued excellence of these performances is to be highly commended. Believe me, I remember the blood, sweat, and tears that go into producing quality work, and I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for another delightful evening.
Oklahoma was the third repeat show. Again, the time and the people were right. The goal each year was not to be better than the previous year, but to be the best that we could be. It was a tradition that participants felt was worthy. So whether it was a repeat show or a new show was not as of great importance as the total commitment of all to meet that challenge.
After the barn raising scene, Curly and Lori finally confessed their love for each other. The scene, as written, was set on the porch with an old stove. Since the contract permitted changes as dictated by local limitations, Carl made an old-fashioned rope swing by clamping both ends of a heavy rope with a seat attached to an I-beam. The result was a perfect barnyard swing. Adding a few props and a farm backdrop resulted in a scene full of charm and warmth.
Again, a Surrey was located for the final scene, and yes, that painted sky was brightened for the opening scene. Through the years, many members of earlier casts returned to repeat performances. Renewing acquaintances was as important as realizing that many young people had fond memories of participation in SM musicals.
Carnival is a love story about magic, as part of a performance and as part of life and love. A shy girl realizes that a lame puppeteer is more admirable than a glamorous magician who dazzles the crowd.
There's no overture. The show opens on an empty, unlit stage to the melody of a concertina. As the music builds, the stage brightens and the carnival is set up. Here, choreographed stage movement is especially important. Crowd movement adds another detail to the complete picture, pleasing the eyes of the audience, while good musical direction makes the sound pleasing to the ear.
The 4 puppets, which conveyed the many sides of Paul, were handmade for this presentation. Of necessity, they were quite large, and were actually handled by 4 different people behind the puppet booth at various times. Paul was the voice of Carrot Top, who finally reached Billy's heart.
For the first time ever, the performance had to be stopped because of outside disturbances. The first was a brick thrown through the window, showering the orchestra with glass, but the brick was deflected by the window covering, so it did no bodily harm. Soon after, a fire alarm sounded. It was determined to be a false alarm, and the performance continued with some trepidation.
After years of answering the question, what's this year's musical? With
But you don't.
it's either Carnival or Carousel. Both were finally presented in consecutive years. Carousel presents the strange and beautiful love story of Billy and Julie. After a reckless life and an untimely death, Billy returns to give his child new joy and assurance, and to restore Julie's faith in her love for him. It is a challenging show, musically, dramatically, and visually.
During If I Loved You, there was a reference to petals dropping with no wind at all, it being just their time. Carl and Jim Newcomb, set construction, put heads together and hung nets filled with crepe paper flower petals, which were released by a rope tugged from the wings at the appropriate time. Just a little detail, and there were many in every show. But it was noticed by a theater festival judge.
A great deal of attention was paid to details that are frequently overlooked, sometimes for reasons of expediency in many high school productions. These details that frequently make the difference between a good and an outstanding show were well handled in this production. It can only be believed that the excellence of this production is directly related to the maximum efforts, techniques, and attention to detail on the part of the directors.
An SM graduate commented in a letter to the cast.
It is the continuing excellence that allows those who have gone before you to say with pride that they were once a part of such a fine show. Never forget that along with your talent, it was the director's love, guidance, and foresight that made your show what it is.
Making our own costumes was a real advantage with Carousel. Items made for previous productions could be used in many scenes, thereby saving cost in a show that needed 175 costumes.
Carousel was another show with children stealing the scene. The youngest snow child got tired along about the last scene of Act Two. So she just sat down on the stage floor to rest. It was way past her bedtime. The second youngest, a child about 6 years old, hoped the show wouldn't be chosen for the past because it was so hard to ignore Billy and to keep from crying in the final scene.
Mid-May, we waited all Sunday evening and into Monday morning, but the call from the theater festival didn't come. With heavy hearts, the stage crew broke down the set, literally, and tossed much of it onto the pickup pile at the loading dock. After 4 p.m., when the call finally came, the pieces had to be retrieved. The scenery gods were smiling on us. Monday wasn't trash pickup day. But both Jims, Toast and Newcomb, almost cried when they saw the condition of the pieces. With many extra hours of work, everything was ready to pack into the semi and transport to the Pabst Theater for the May 29th performance.
On rehearsal night, a Union Lightman commented on the beauty of the opening scene. He suggested we bring the curtain up on a dark stage, since the performers were in a freeze for a few seconds. So we did. The thrill of hearing the collective gasp of the audience as the lights came up on the carousel scene was a lasting memory. This and the applause that followed invigorated the participants and made them reach for new heights. Though for one cast member, just being at the Pabst was incentive enough. He stated that the luxury of the theater really got the adrenaline flowing. Another cast member added,
Gives you a chance in high school